Hey podcasters, in this video I'm going to give you a first look at the new Shure MV7 podcasting mic. Whether you're a podcaster, content creator, musician, or even video game streamer, having professional sounding audio is imperative for you to grow your audience and make great content. Now historically we've all aspired to have the Shure SM7B at our side, but oftentimes the budget doesn't allow for it. Now the SM7B is the industry standard for broadcast audio, but it requires additional hardware to get the most out of it. So I'm really excited that Shure has now released the MV7. The Shure MV7 is a dynamic microphone which is going to get you perfect audio in imperfect rooms. We don't all have a recording studio to record in, and this microphone is going to allow you to get great sounding audio no matter where you are. Now you also have a hybrid output system. This means we can either use XLR to any hardware or use USB to a computer. So it's compatible with anything that you want to use it with. There's also a ton of built-in features within the microphone. You're going to get the Shure Motive app, which is going to give you control of the MV7. You can either put it in manual mode for full control or auto mode, which is going to automatically level your audio in real time.
So I was lucky enough to get my hands on the MV7 early, and I want to share everything that I've learned about it with you now. So at a first glance, the MV7 aesthetically looks very similar to the SM7B. However, there are a few differences. So first off, you've got capacitive control built into the microphone. That means that we can select our headphone volume, our microphone gain volume. We can also mute the mic. But don't worry, Shure has put a locking feature into the software that allows you to lock this out completely. So if you are touching the microphone or moving it, you don't accidentally change the settings. Now, next up, I must mention that this microphone is not a replacement for the SM7B. It is a different microphone element inside, but as you can hear, you're getting that same radio-friendly, broadcast-ready vocal sound that is synonymous with the Shure SM7B. So I'm really actually impressed with how great the microphone sounds for applications like podcasting and live streaming. Now, one of the other features I really love is that it's got everything built in, so I don't need to get external hardware. So I have my SRH 440 headphones plugged directly into the microphone, and I'm running via USB-C right into a Mac Mini. So I'm able to just plug in, start recording, start documenting without worrying about mixers or preamps or anything like that. So that made it a very fast microphone to get plugged in and set up. Now, speaking of setup, let's take a look at the software. So the Shure Plus Motive app is one of the coolest features of the MV7. It's going to allow us to tailor our sound to exactly how we want it to be in manual mode, or just have the auto mode handle it for us on its own. So auto level mode is opened up. If we wanted to lock the mic out, we could just simply press this button and none of the controls on the mic will work. So if we're going to move the mic around, or if we're going to handle the mic, we're not going to change the levels. Now we can also set presets. So I can save a preset and load a preset at the touch of a button, which is very handy if you have multiple people using the microphone or different applications in which you're using the microphone. Of course, we can mute the mic. And then we can also select our monitor mix. So how much of the playback do we want to hear on our Twitch stream? How much of the guest do we want to hear on our podcast, as opposed to how much we want to hear our own voice? So really cool way to mix your signals right out of the app through the real-time headphone output. Now, this is one of the coolest features is mic position. A lot of people don't know that you need to keep your mouth about a fist distance away from a microphone in order to get that great proximity effect and that radio quality microphone signal. But you may not want to sit real close to the mic. You may want the microphone out of the shot or just off to the side. We have the ability to select our positioning. So if I put the microphone in far mode, I can sit farther away from the microphone and still get that nice radio quality broadcast, whether I'm twitching or doing a live stream about my next hit single, we can select that as well. So I'm going to go back to near mode because I like to sit next to the microphone. And finally, we have a tone selector. This is super cool because we can get that dark SM7B sound. We can get a more natural sound that's going to automatically make the voice sound natural. And of course, we can get that shimmery top end, that high top end, bright sound for the microphone. So this is all subjective. It's based on your taste on how you want your microphone to sound. I really like the natural sound. And if I was going to use this in auto level mode, I'd probably leave it there. Now, I'm an audio guy, so I'm going to want to go into the manual mode. So again, we can lock the mic, we can load a preset, we can mute. We can also now change the gain of the microphone. So you can see the microphone was a little bit lower level, and I can raise it up to where I need it to be. I can also, of course, change how much of myself I'm hearing in the headphones, which is helpful. And I have access to some EQ curves. So flat, something I might use because I'm going to do some post-production processing. High pass filter. This is something I'm already going to be doing in post, so it saves me a step or putting another instance of a plugin on my mixing channel. We've got a presence boost that's going to just give us that little bump that's going to bring the presence of our voice out. And then, of course, a combination of the high pass and presence boost together. Now, a limiter is included. I love limiters because it's going to keep us from getting into that nasty digital distortion area if we're overdriving or getting super animated or exciting. So we can throw on that limiter and just be sure that every time we're broadcasting that we're not going to get into an area where our audio can become unsalvageable. And then, of course, no podcast would be complete without some compression. So we have the ability to put on a light compressor, a medium compressor, or go all the way up to heavy with that pillowy, broadcast-ready vocal coming out of the compressor. So it's super cool. And I'm just going to go ahead and save this as a preset and call it the pillow because this would be a great setup for a podcast.
So the Shure MV7 is shipping right now. Click that link below to get your very own and take your audio to the next level. I highly recommend this mic. I'm going to be using it as my #1 recommendation for any podcaster or content creator looking for better audio.